So this is Milestone 1 of the dev blog. I wanted to go over what I worked on this week, which was the spawn area, the shack slash cabin. It ended up being a cabin since it just fit better, and the main event, the cave. Sorry for all the lines, it's just very bright. Now for this campfire area, I wanted to just have it put down because later on I will add more decoration, my environmental storytelling. I just wanted to get the main pieces in before I start changing things. The cabin, the only change that was really done to this, besides just placing it, was this flag here. This is not actually part of it, but one of the other buildings did have it, and it fit well. If I could change the wind direction, I would have had it blow that way, towards the cave, and I would have had the fire go towards the cabin, since it's right here. Other than that, everything was able to be accomplished. This here is actually, I believe it was supposed to be for a lake, like if you had a frozen lake. And fun fact, this that you see is the top. It's top to bottom. You had to flip it to be like this, because the top is actually completely transparent. These cave pieces, this one and this one, it's the same piece, just flipped. Because there's no backing for these. Same with these walls here and the floors. There's no backing or bottom, respectively, for them. Oddly enough, I believe it's probably for saving space, since it is limited of what you can place. The only other issue I had was, for a while, my character, when I would spawn in the air. But if you see now, it spawns like this. You're in the air. It's like, huh, that's weird. I found out that it's because if you press the button that makes your character snap to the ground, it goes in the ground. If you can see that, it's kind of hard, I know. It goes into the floor, and since that's obviously not something the game would want to do, it doesn't want to spawn you underground, it instead will place you in the air, so you don't just careen to your death, basically. In terms of just general movement, I did move them around a little. As you can see, it's facing this way, but if you flip it, it should face the other one. The intended direction, sorry about that, is here, towards the actual cabin. I was initially going to spawn the player somewhere else. You would spawn somewhere else, and then you would actually walk to this campsite, and then you would walk to the cabin. There are no enemies. You'll see it in the top left. It's going to be like, hey, enemies. There are none. They do not exist yet. This over here is the cabin. Eventually there will be a gun in this cabin and in the cave over there. Placing this wasn't too bad. It was mainly just getting the ground underneath it to not look like it's having a crisis, and or clipping into everything where you can't see. So, as you can see, this little texture here, don't mind these guns, they will be something else later on, but these here I placed in the trees, I placed just to give you a frame of, alright, gotta go somewhere. It is a little bit of a trek up. I put this is the iconic blue climbing ropes. If you see those, you can climb up whatever's there. I put these in, this one, and there's one, I believe, down the hill. Yep, there it is. As a way to showcase this was a ramp at some point, and it was shifted to just these stairs for probably convenience. These textures here, they're a little off just so they're not completely just flat. And the walls, I had to stagnate and stack them on top of each other. This frozen waterfall here, I put in, I'm going to most likely put the weapon you can find here, just because it is rather large and it is something you see right from the jump. So even if you haven't looked down all the way, you'll see something, since it doesn't match the walls completely. I wanted to be sure this lip here as well, because AI in this game, in all of these games, realistically, they can path find, certainly, but the little lip is kind of reminiscent of what you would do with a gate that you would find the key for, because I do not believe they can just straight up jump up those. Maybe glitch up there, but not traditionally. I did leave this open with no path from here to the cabin, simply because there isn't. This is more of will be an environmental storytelling piece. I probably will add a road at some point, because next week's mission is to add a new loadout, arrows here, and then the 2 weapons that I was telling you about, and then the actual enemies, of course, because there's nobody here. Other than that, oh, the boundaries, of course. Can't forget about that. If I open terrain and map limits, I did change it. If I back out, you can see this little chunk is what I've created, but this whole outer area, because this is the snow template that can be chosen for this mode. And I just took a piece of it and shifted around. All the trees here was also done on purpose, simply because it is very dense and it is a large. The contrast is big. It's very strong, so just as a way to make it stand out a little. And I had them frame this, and as you can see, I only put trees on this side just to be just to frame the building versus, you know, this open area. Only real struggles I had was it did crash at some point, which was odd, because it had never crashed before, but it just crashed. And there was a saving issue where I had done this stuff, but I hadn't saved the pieces, which was fine though, because I ended up making this look better than it was before. And the cave, I was doing something else before. I hadn't built the mountain and then carved into it. I had been just building as I was going, and this method seemed to be more fruitful in terms of its results, as it came out coherent instead of missing a bunch of pieces. But other than that, actually, that's it. On top of the weapons and enemies and such, it will be playtesting time, so look forward to it.